Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi. It's like I am excited to be here today. Last year at the International Beauty Show in New York, I ran into or met a wonderful young lady. I was getting ready to host a panel that was called the um, People of Color, Why Do We Undercharge? And it was part of IBS having a Powerhouse Pavilion, and she attended the panel, came to attend the panel. We started talking, and I invited her to join me for my class, which was all about beating burnout. But she insisted she had no burnout, which was wonderful to hear. But I still thought it would be a good fit for her. And you are going to get to meet her today, and you're going to love what she has to share, especially if you are feeling like you're a little bit overworked, a little bit overbooked. Got too many clients. Maybe you've got, like her, a mile long waiting list. It's like you're booked out for several months and you are possibly enjoying what you're doing, but maybe kind of running on fumes and you know that something has to change. That's where she was. So she's going to tell you in just a moment. My name is Mickey Wright. I'm with beautysuperstars.com and Beauty Superstars Talk. And I am excited to be here. It's like I actually help make six-figure stylists and help stylists and beauty professionals become six-figure business owners. For some reason, I can't talk today, but I think it's going to get better. So stick with us. And if you are here, we want to welcome you. If you're watching on the replay, we're excited that you're here. So please get ready for this exciting conversation. And here we go. Hi, Dianna.
Hey, hi, Nikki. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, my name is Dianna LeFevre, and I've been a owner since 2010 in the Northern Connecticut region on the Western Mass side as well. So, right up in that corner. And I love working with natural hair. That's my passion. Love it, love it, love it. As well as using as natural of product as possible, meaning lots of herbs and essential oils and things of that sort. So those are the things that I love the most.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's like, well, we met last year. It hasn't even quite been a year, and so
Mhm.
we're ticking on that kind of anniversary time. So tell us about where you were when we met. It's like you shared some things with me, and I thought it was very interesting where you were in your career.
Mhm. Well, from my perspective at that time, I thought I was safe, sound, and secure. I thought I was doing everything just right, just so business is thriving. I'm doing fine. I had a mile long waiting list. When I say that, clients were booking out over a year
Wow,
ahead of time, over a year.
wow.
And so when I went to the IBS and saw the Powerhouse Pavilion, I was super excited about just learning to take my business to the next level from that aspect. But I was also trying to figure out how to fix the stress that comes from being booked out that far
Hmm.
and the anxiety, the overload, but not even realizing that I had that anxiety, stress, and overload, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
In
Hmm.
my mind, I was trying to make things easier for my clients to get in and this and that. There had to be, I must have had to hire like 10 more people that was going to do it. And lo and behold, it was nothing like that. So when I went over to you after meeting you at the Powerhouse Pavilion and hearing you and just growing so much in that little short period of time, I was just, what do I do about this waiting list? And you were like, come to the burnout um, class. And I was like, but I'm not burnout. And you were like, yeah, I know, but come to the burnout class. And in my head, I was thinking, what part is this is she not getting? I'm not burnt out. I love what I do. I want to keep doing it. And what's burnt out about being a year booked in advance? So this is great. But I said, I'm going to do it anyways because through that pavilion meeting, so many of the things that you said resonated with me. And they were such a smart ticket that I said, go anyways. And when I went, I said, after going, I was like, this lady knew more of what I needed than I knew of what I needed.
Hmm.
And it was such a blessing to me because when you are booked that far in advance, what do you do to plan a vacation? You don't know always your vacation throughout the whole year. And I like to take vacations at least every 3 months.
Mhm.
So for me, it was not real vacation, because what I was doing was the week before I left, all those people that I was going to see during that time, I would book them in double work and all of this. And then the week after I got back, whoever I didn't fit in the second week, well, I got to move them over into that week. So I'm exhausted
Right.
as soon as I get back from vacation. And not realizing that there's a better way, that there was a better way. Now, through all of that time, meeting you and talking to you, and talking about the strategy changes that would need to take place, fear creeped up. And
Mhm.
as I told you before, I never thought I was a fearful person. I was like, I can go get it. I've started businesses, multiple businesses. They all thrived. They all did really well. And I was like, I can do that. I'm bold like that. And then you asked me to get out of my comfort zone. And I've been in fear ever since, but with trust. I trust it now. So the fear is changing. It's losing a little bit.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, I think you touched on so many things. Let's just, go with the fear because it's like, a lot of us are confident. It's like we have started businesses, we've done really well. It's like I always congratulate people for the successes that they've had,
Mm-hmm.
and yet there's more.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we think about like going outside of whatever that comfort zone is, so it's like for some people we think, okay, the comfort zone's just here, and then it's like my comfort zone's here, so I'm good. But there's another comfort zone and maybe another one, and so it brings up, like you say, the fear started showing up. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I
I
think
can remember you saying to me over and over again, okay, take a deep breath. Okay, take another deep breath. You might do some tapping if you need to,
yep, yep.
whatever to help make it through. But it was exactly what I needed when I needed it. So I thank you
Yeah,
so much, so much.
yeah. So you told us like where you were before. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you shared like what kind of made you come to the class, even though it seemed like I wasn't listening to you, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like you weren't burnt out or any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I've even thought about like, okay, we may need to rename the class because it's like there's a lot of people that it can help. That my experience, my background is like, and why I was able to kind of see what you needed so clearly is because I've been there. It's like I was that
Mm-hmm.
stylist who, booked a year in advance, and it's like I try to plan in everything before we did the booking. But of
Mm-hmm.
course, it's like life doesn't always go according to plan. And so then there's, like you say, the shifting around. It's like, okay, who can go where? When can I get them in? And it just becomes crazy. And then I'll share a little bit more just, as far as my growth and that kind of feeling chained to the chair. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
But tell us, like, you came to the class, you got some things out of it. You could see that, was speaking to you and what was going on in your life. What made you actually kind of take the plunge to go ahead and start the Luxury Business Blueprint, which is what she's a graduate of, and why I'm
Yeah.
excited to have her here to share her story and experience. So, um, tell us what made you kind of take that step.
Take that plunge, you mean? It was a plunge, no?
Yeah.
Well, when we were at the IBS show at the Burnout um, portion, you had a nice um, screen that showed where we could be losing money and where we could be making more money. And I felt comfortable with what I was making. I was content with
Mhm,
what I was making. What I was not content with was I was such a client pleaser
mhm,
that, again, trying to book them in and get them in, I might stay later hours, um, or earlier hours, or come in when I shouldn't have had to come in. Even though, believe it or not, I still only worked at that time 3 days a week,
mhm,
because I thought I had it all under control, and I'm gonna, set things aside. But what you showed me through that was there was a better way. We actually met initially with a consultation,
mhm,
and you helped me to appreciate that I probably need to change my prices.
Mm.
And then the fear hit. Fear hit hard, like, oh, wait a minute, but like everybody else, I'm charging what's comfortable in my region. Why am I, going to change them now? And then you helped me to appreciate that I can control those things that are what I thought were outside of my control, like being booked a year in advance by doing these things and looking over what the luxury blueprint was going to be able to offer to me. You had already built my trust from the IBS show, the Powerhouse. I kept going to the different, whatever one your name was going to be on, because I was like, I'm going to get more from this lady. There's so much more to
Thank
her. I want more from her. And so I would, even if it was a subject I didn't even think I needed, I was like, well, I didn't think I needed the other one, so I'm going back to this one too, you know.
you.
And each time, you still found a way to show me something new without even realizing it. So when we had our little consultation, I was in, I was ready, and I was in. You had to slow me a little bit because I was ready. Let's change these places now. And then you were like, wait, let's take the course so we can change it, with progression and properly,
Right.
which I am so glad that I listened to you so that I would not have to regret some things or have to switch something up because of jumping right in. So that program was so organized, thought out, and so unique that it gave me all the tools that, like, step by steps of how to do this safely.
Mm-hmm.
That helped to alleviate my fear, help my fear to go down more and more. And then I kept thinking, like everybody, well, good grief, I'm going to lose clients because remember, when I joined the Luxury Blueprint, I did not go up by $5 or $10. Remember, I initially it was we had a goal for the year of ultimately more than $50 per service. And when I say per service, it could be the deep conditioning going up by $50, let alone the service. So, and then you broke it down nicely for me to, okay, well, let's split that in half. Let's start with 25 and see
Right.
how comfortable that is. And then doing it, and it fixed a lot of problems that were the big ones I saw, but even the little ones I didn't realize I had.
Mm.
Very helpful.
Tell us a little bit more about that. What were the big ones you saw? And don't lose your thought, but I want to just say welcome to everybody that's here. If you'd like to say hello or anything, you can feel free to drop some comments for us. If you have any questions as we go along, feel free to add those. Oh, I see Philip. Hey, I haven't seen you in forever. Hi. And I'm seeing his name, but it's like if you want me to see your name, it's like we're on StreamYard and they have a little button there, I guess, right after the description that says you allow them to show your name. You don't have to, but it helps us just to say hi.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so glad you're here. So tell us, like what were the big problems that you saw, and then what were some of the smaller things that kind of ended up being fixed, even though you didn't know they needed to be fixed.
Yeah. So one of the first big ones was again that year-long waiting list,
Hmm.
cutting that down. And I remember right away you had said to me, you really shouldn't do more than 3 months. 3 months is a more comfortable wait list if booking out that far. I
Hmm.
shouldn't say wait list,
Right,
booked out for over a year. The wait list was even longer than that.
right.
But my regular, I was just booked out for over a year, easy.
Hmm.
And then I had a wait list, like, please fit me in type of thing. Um, but you were like, you know, you might consider booking out no more than 3 months. So that allows you to make other arrangements with your time too.
Hmm.
So I put that into place right away. Of course, you get customer pushback like, what? What do you mean I can't book out in a year because I want this time? But they weren't aware of the other changes that were coming as well. So I was like, it's going to be okay. You'll still be able to get the times that you want. Just bear with me.
Hmm.
Um, and then so that was some of the bigger ones. Also, trying to work with staff and build a staff and understand the dynamics of those pieces.
Hmm.
Um, those are bigger ones. The smaller ones that came was it gave me back my time
Hmm.
that I didn't realize I was committing so much. And the other changes was you're so committed to your clients. Well, how good are you going to be when your back hurts, your knees hurt, your, all of these different things when you can't do what you're forcing yourself to do now? So it gave me back better health,
Mm,
better organization, because there was time for things that, or allowed me to make time for things that make life run a bit smoother and easier too.
right.
So those things were beneficial. And in doing that, you calm down. What happens when you calm down? The fear calms down too. So all of that was helpful.
Yeah, yeah. So what changes did you see through your clientele? Like you said, they were like, "Oh no, I can't book out the way that I have been used to."
Yeah. Um, so when I followed the luxury, that kind of takes me into the luxury blueprint. Is that
Mhm,
okay to discuss
mhm,
that a little bit? When I went into the luxury blueprint and following the steps, of wanting to be a luxury hairstylist, or already recognizing that in many ways I was a luxury hairstylist,
mhm,
but I didn't count myself as one. And if I don't count myself as one, my guests don't see me as one either.
mm. Wow.
They don't. That's just how it is.
Say that
They see
again.
me as a good stylist, and they're, well, I'm only going to go to her because she's helped my hair do this, and she has a certain environment that I like, and but they
Right.
don't recognize that, yeah, that's a luxury hairstylist.
Mhm,
And just because I want to please my guests doesn't mean I have to suffer because of it. I
mm.
can do both. I
Wow.
And so that's what I started shifting my mind. The luxury blueprint helped me to shift that mind. And even just saying, I remember the first class when the affirmations, and you're saying, I'm a $1,500 hairstylist. And I was like, I can't say that. I don't even want to say that. Money doesn't mean that much to me. But then I was like, well, wait a minute. You know what? Money buys my house, my car, my, health in different ways because you can provide for yourself. So money does have value. It's okay to make sure people value me too.
Mm,
And so that's where it changed. Now my clients, all the pushback. Because again, I had come from this nicey, 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 sweet, 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 bend over backwards person to
mhm,
help to no, no, no. Let's create some boundaries. And these boundaries are going to help you and they're going to help me.
right.
And not just you. So
Right.
with doing that, they wanted to push back, and even in their pushback, I could hear the help for them,
Mhm,
but the hurt for me.
mm,
And I started to say, wait, is this person? But I remember you saying in the very beginning, Diana, I don't think you're going to lose as many clients as you think you are. And I'd be like, okay, I'll trust you. But then in the pushback, they would be saying things like, but that price, like, so if, just as an example, if a deep conditioning was $25 as an add-on service and it now went up to $45 as an add-on service,
mhm,
wow, Diana, that's a $45, and then you want the wash and go and you want the, or a twist out or whatever. So now my bill's X. And then they'd be working the number through their heads, and I just stop and let them, because I'd be saying, be patient, don't interrupt, just be quiet, let them work through it. Do not defend your right to do this, so, and I would let them work through it, and at the end, I would say, yeah, that's correct. So would you like to get booked for your next appointment? And they would say, okay, yeah, when are we going to be able to do that? And in my head, I'd be going, oh, look at there, they did it. I wanted to do the Toyota jump because it was, you know. And then I would be like, literally, and I was going and I was putting it on, and I'm going, everybody's still rebooking. Everybody's still rebooking. So I'm going, this isn't working. I'm not losing clients yet. I'm still getting booked up. And that's what gave me the strength to go ahead and do that second jump
Mhm. Okay.
in the price. Yeah,
Okay.
do that too.
So you've done.
And their spirit changed. The client spirits have changed.
Okay.
They do see me now as a luxury stylist.
Mhm.
I can see it in the questions they raise. I can see it in they don't push back anymore.
Mhm.
The price is the price. You don't go into, a Range Rover and expect to get a Kia price. You don't go in there even trying to push for Kia prices. Because you're getting a Range Rover,
Right, right.
So they accept that. And I also watched my clients too. Clients that I would give discounts or not charge for a service because I just love doing their hair, which I did. I love doing their hair. And the hair needed it, so I'm going to give you the service. And by George, I'm not going to charge you for it. And I would see, Coach bags and, very expensive Lexus cars and, different things that, oh, wait a minute now. I'm still riding around in a Kia, and yet I'm giving you more still because of it. So thinking about it differently.
Mm.
Yeah.
Woo, that was a lot.
Yeah. Because it was a lot to go through, but I'm
Right.
happy I went through it. I have
Mhm.
no regrets. And I can't wait to go through more.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're not at quite a year,
Hmm.
and you've had 2 price changes?
Two price changes. Yep.
Okay, okay, and I remember one of the times there's several things I wanna go back to, but I remember one of the conversations we had because, some of this was in service of you not being booked out a year and having a mile-long waiting list.
Hmm.
So we knew that you needed to lose some clients.
Hmm.
You're just
Hmm.
physically not able to
To
service
do
all
it.
of the clients at your highest and best self,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, in that way. And so,
Right.
but we had a conversation and you were like, but they were gonna leave.
Hmm.
I'm gonna lose them. It's like
Hmm.
that's part of what we're aiming for actually, right?
Yes. Yes.
But you kind
And
of forgot along the way.
yeah. And it was a wake up call that it's okay for me if clients left before that. If clients left, I did something wrong. I'm not as good as I thought. It was a confidence, self confidence issue.
Mhm,
But in this case, it was a self confidence boost to let them go. That it's okay if they went,
mhm, mhm.
and it provided for me to be able to do what I wanted to do without worry.
Right, right. Yeah, but it was funny to me because it was like you're so conditioned to like, "Oh, gotta hang on.
Got to
Gotta
hold
have
them.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Every one of them. And even when I hired my other stylist, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you my clients, because I can't do them all, but at least they're still here in the salon.
Mhm,
But we
mhm.
did it differently. We changed it up because of the luxury blueprint. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of comments. So, Sam Blue is here, Sam McCrae.
Mhm.
So the price is the price, the end.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. It's like I believe in not justifying your prices, that you don't have to go through 18 songs and dances as, oh, well, the prices went up at this and I have to pay for that and all that kind of stuff. I think that that is a waste of your time, energy, and breath. It's like
Mhm. Mhm.
that the clients really don't care and it's really none of their business what your expenses are to take care of and run your business.
Mhm.
And you have to make the decisions that you need to make to be able to make it so that it runs well and runs profitably and makes sense for you as the owner. And so the price is the price without justification,
Mhm.
but it's like we are including, I guess you could say, or maybe even expanding on the value that we're bringing.
Mhm.
Was that your experience in terms of the conversations? So we have some tools and stuff to help with having the actual conversation to minimize the pushback.
Yeah. I I did not, how do I put it? I I feel I was already offering the value that they were looking
Right.
for, and that was part of why they were with me. And I had a list so long. The problem was I diminished my value, so they diminished my value. Now I've caught up with my value, and I need them to put their glasses on and see it too. you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it was more of the price is the price.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because this is what you're getting. We went through the Neiman Marcus thing
Mm-hmm.
and the Nordstrom and the, versus Macy's and JC Penney's or one of the other department stores, or versus even Walmart, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And if I'm providing Neiman Marcus, and I'm not trying to just pat myself on the back type of thing, I'm just saying that there were certain parts of the experience that I knew they were looking for. I was providing it for them. And that's what they kept telling me in my ear.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're going to tell me in the value
Mm-hmm.
of what I do.
Right. Right. Yeah, yeah. And just to kind of clarify just a little bit with the store analogy is something that
Oh,
I use
yeah.
because I actually experienced, I took my team to experience that. So I'll share a little bit about that because some people misconstrue what we're saying. It's like there's nothing wrong with any of the stores,
Not at all.
but
We
we
have a
want alignment with our service and our pricing. And that's what those stores, I think, represent, and it's something that makes sense. So I had one more. Let's see. I wanted to address. I think Philip had a question. Maria says, "Great conversation. Thank you so much, Maria. Glad you're here." And Philip. Okay, so I didn't get to read all of your question while I was talking and listening, but it says, "Why not have recommendations for those who are waiting that don't have other stylists that you're developing to be able to point your potential clients to call or new clients to call?" And so I think I'm understanding the question correctly. So thank you for that, Philip. Would you like to share on your experience, and then I'll share on mine?
Um, for me, and what I do, it is a specialty with natural hair.
Hmm.
And the way that I do natural hair is a more holistic way. Um, Using herbs, I'm a certified aromatherapist. Also understanding the impact that it has. It's not something that more stylists in my region do, so it's hard to recommend other stylists.
Hmm.
And people would actually say, "No, I'm going to wait for you."
Hmm.
People are very much, dedicated and loyal in that. No, I'm going to just wait for you. Or I do already have a stylist, but I've heard and I want to come to you.
Hmm.
And then in my case, like I did have someone who was in school and she was my assistant and I worked with her and she's been trained and she's a stylist now. And some of my clients knew that they were going to be going to her.
Hmm.
So there was some growth in that way too.
Yeah, yeah. And so definitely it is good to have options, but this is in addition to any options. When
Mm-hmm.
I talk about the luxury business blueprint, when I was a salon owner, and then my business grew into, we I became one of the first African American owners of a full service salon and day spa. We had a team of up to about 25, I think, during that time. We had 9 styling stations, so I was at one, and so I had 8 other stylists that were part of the team. And so I had grown my clientele. I had showed them how to grow their clientele, and I was able to help my clients transition into their chairs as they assisted me, and they became comfortable with the new stylist. It's like they would, comfortably go to them. And some of them are still doing some of those clients today. So it's really beautiful to see. But I had done all of those things that needed to be done. I had a shorter work week, but it was still a really full clientele. And I had a business that was growing. We were part of the Salon Today 200 fastest growing salons for 3 consecutive years. So we had a lot of growth in the salon and in the business. There's a lot of, policies and procedures and training and things that need to happen. The day-to-day management. I had my best friend was actually our service director. And so she kind of did a lot of the managerial things, but there were, a lot of moving parts. And I knew that somebody needed to steer the ship, and that was me. And so I couldn't do it with the time, energy, and emotional and mental efforts that it takes to do, clients, to service them well. And that was something that truly valued, was making sure that my clients were taken care of. And so I said, I've got more people than I can do right now. And what I'm going to do is have a pretty major increase. And so I, we were already what you would consider like a premium price salon. And my stylist had, prices, at different levels or what have you. And my prices were the highest prices. And I raised my prices significantly. And guess what happened?
He stayed.
No one left, like
Yep.
not one person. And I was like, "Dag." It's like, I'm gonna have to do this again. And so my experience is what led to me creating the luxury business blueprint, because it's more than just the pricing that people come to you for. And there's more layers to it, to you being able to transition into what I call becoming a premium price stylist, and being able to really create the lifestyle that you want while you do what you love, and
Mhm.
doing fewer clients and making more money. And so that's what it's for. And it definitely was birthed because of my own experience. Like, okay, this one pronged approach is not working. And so it's really putting several different aspects into place so that you can create not only the business that you enjoy and do the things that you love, but that you're actually able to have a life as well. And I
Mhm.
think that's really important. So share with us how things have shifted for you lifestyle wise. And again, thank you for the question, Philip, because I think that's a very good one.
Yeah, yeah, it is. For me, I when I started, I worked 3 days a week, and I made a decent living. I felt like I made a decent living with it. It provided for our household needs. Um, Now I work 2 days a week, and I make
Hmm.
more than I made 3 days a week. But it's not just about the money; it's about um, the growth that I made too. For me, the growth that I'm making, because your blueprint that you have, yes, I applied it primarily to my work, but I'm able to provide. I'm a very religious person. I applied it to that. I applied it to my relationships. I applied it to many different things. So the growth that I got from that blueprint rounds out and balances my life, not just my work.
Right.
And in doing so, at least, and I'll give you the example with work. Um, I had a certain goal over, let's just throw out a number, $100,000, over $100,000.
Hmm.
Well, I started your program in March, and I was $5,000 short of it in December. $5,000 short. So, and now I've done, January's has already concluded, the month end and all of that. I'm $5,000 over
Yeah.
already from January. So what I'm saying is that it's not just about the money, but it's about those changes that makes in you as a person,
Right.
that makes things a whole different person, a luxury stylist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the things I've heard from others, you don't have small kids, but some of the students, stylists they have small kids, and they are like, it's like when I would get home, I was so exhausted, I'd be snappy, and, it's like, what do you want? That type of thing. And now they're going home, and it's like, oh, okay, well, let's, have family movie night, or, it's like they have energy, they have time. And it's like, the creativity during their salon time, that they have the time and the space to really put forth, if services are requested by certain clients. It's like she would never have time before, and now
Mhm.
it's like, okay, sure, let's do that.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've expanded your team since then
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
So tell
Yeah.
us about that.
That's still a growing area for me. That's where we still have a nice partnership, and so I have another stylist with me as well, and she's growing. She's growing in her program and learning, and she's growing in her skills and things of that sort.
Hmm.
And that has helped take some of the pressure off as well, being able
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. And so it's like we talked a little bit about the fears. Tell us about the fears, like the journey of the fears. Like you shared with us kind of the beginning, but it's like it's not necessarily like they go away, or like,
They're still here. They're still here. I was telling you earlier or before that, the fear was like real high in the beginning, like super, super high. Wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it, fears, and then I would put in put in the work and do a little bit of what you were saying, and it would come down a little bit, and then I'd say, okay, well, I'll do some more, and it'd come down a little bit. Okay, I'll do some more of the luxury blueprint. And this would, doing more help the fear subside, but it never goes away. And if I get distracted,
Mhm.
it swings back up there again. So it's what keeps me staying in the program and um, trying to make more growth in new ways so that I can gradually retrain my mind not to jump to the fear, but
Mhm.
to stay at a nice constant balance.
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying when we met after you did the first price change that you were, um, I think what you said was, you mean I could have been doing this all along?
Yes. Yes. And you do think back to the peace that you could have had sooner, or the money that you've let disappear, and the training. But you know what? I can't stay focused in the woulda, coulda, shouldas. I can stay in what I'm doing right now. So that's
Right, right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But for anyone who's kind of watching and like, oh, I don't think I could, do
Do
all
it.
that.
Your life will change. Do it.
Is
Yeah, and it'll change for the better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So talk to us, lifestyle, like you said, is very important to you. And I know you've taken some travel time. As like
Mhm.
I think one of the first months we met, you had like 2 trips in the same month
Mhm.
and you still made more than you had made the
Yep.
previous month or something like that.
Yes.
Talk
Yes.
to us about that.
So, actually, over this year and this year coming, we've been able to take more trips than we've ever been able to take. Typically, we would do, especially as the boys were growing up. My husband and I always wanted to continue our. We've been married 33 years, y'all. 33 years, and we always maintained dating each other,
Mhm.
even when we couldn't rub two coins together. It didn't matter. We would have people in our house after the kids went to bed, and we would date each other. We're going to serve each other a drink, or, it doesn't matter, rub one another's back, whatever. But we were going to date each other. And we knew that that's what, every 2 weeks, there had to be a date. It didn't have to cost us anything, but there
Mhm.
had to be a date. And that kept communication going, that kept the spice going and the interest in each other going. And so as they got older, and the boys got older, we could start doing more trips. So we would do, one family trip, but then we did him and I a date trip too, where it was just him and I as well. So now they're all grown and they've done their lives are set, and so we do our trips together. But really, part of being on vacation every 3 months, it allows us to go away. So like we've been to Mexico a few times, Jamaica. We just came back from Jamaica in December. Um, in the end of April, we're going to Hawaii.
Yay.
And then in December again, we're going back to Mexico. We're going to Los Cabos. No, no bragging, not bragging. I'm just saying it allows you to have the time, the space, the finances to do some of the things that you've wanted to do or planned to do that maybe life gets away from us and then we don't get to do it. And
Mhm.
that's where the luxury blueprint helps. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that really touches me because there's like so many people that, just seem like they're passing away.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
like, just living every single day the way that you want to live it is
Yeah.
just such a key.
And while you're living life, it doesn't, everybody thinks, wait till retire, then I'll go travel. Or wait till I retire and then I'll get this and I'll do that.
Right.
But why are we not doing it while we're still living our lives?
Hmm.
If it's possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh boy. Wow. That's a good one. That's really deep. And I appreciate what you shared, with your relationship and that type of thing as well, because I think it can be a challenging or balancing act for people in the beauty industry to maintain the relationship, and
Yes.
especially that long. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And, I know for my parents, I always respected that they did, their travel and trips and stuff like that, with each other, as
Mhm.
well as, like you say, some of the family things. And, of course, they had plans for things that they would do later, but they did a lot. And it's like, unfortunately, my father passed away
Oh, I'm
young.
sorry.
And so, they weren't able to realize everything that they planned to do, but
Work to
there was,
do.
but they did, they didn't say, "Oh, we're not going to do this now. We're going to wait." They did it. And so I think that's a great message as well. And one other thing I wanted to touch on with you is I met with someone earlier today, and she was like, like, this all sounds good, but, does this work in this economy? Because I'm seeing my clients spacing their appointments out longer. It's like I'm seeing, all of these different things. I just had a slower month and this, that, and the other. So talk to us about your experience, because I was like using you as an example. It's like, well, she just started in March. So
Yeah, and this is
works right
post COVID, post inflation, like we've never seen the levels, and it's going up. I mean, I was just reading an article yesterday. Inflation's going to go up even. I think we're at 8%. It's going
now.
up to 12% within the next 3 years.
Hmm.
So it's still going to go up, but people are still buying houses. People are still buying cars. We still eat the same groceries, if not more, and they will still come to you to get their hair done.
Hmm.
They're still coming to get their hair done. They're still paying higher prices. It's not, that doesn't change it. And I will tell you, I was very afraid pre when COVID hit, and we were all like, "Whoa, how am I going to make it?
Right.
What's going to happen?" Um, and I came back to work, and everybody came back. Well, first of all, people didn't want to leave even when COVID was going on. They were like, "Can you come to my house? You know, I'll meet you in the garage, in the back. I'll wear 3 masks. Please, can you still do my hair?"
Right.
Um, and so when I did open back up, the list was still there. New people came on, and I was like, "Did more people go natural during COVID? What happened?" You know, So you don't lose. It's still, it shifts.
Uh-huh.
Just move with the shift. Don't be
Mhm.
afraid to move with it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I want to just touch on this really quickly. You have kind of an advantage over many of us in that you have a husband who is an accountant.
Hmm.
And so, with a lot of the things, that we share within the training, not all of it's about numbers, but some of it is about getting really clear about your numbers and where you are and what you need to make, what want to make. All of those types of things play into it. And you were like, "Oh, well, I've got that covered because my husband takes care of all of that stuff." So, tell us a little bit about your experience of, I think, kind of owning your numbers.
That was huge for me. In the luxury blueprint, when you have us, not just like I have a program that does my numbers for me, even though I have my accountant, our program, it still has all the numbers. It was nothing like writing those numbers down. And to this day, I write those numbers down every day. Every day, after work is done, write it down so I can see and I stay connected to those numbers.
Mhm.
What's going up? What's going down? Where did I change? Where I challenge myself now. I'm like, well, I did this today. I wonder, what if I change this tomorrow? Let's see how that changes things. And
Mhm.
and it's just taught me to be more grounded in my numbers. Now,
Mhm.
my husband is an accountant, and yes, don't get me wrong, when it comes to dealing with the IRS and 1040s and Schedule Cs and LLCs and whatever you're going to do, that's his forte. In the beginning, I easily trusted him to do my taxes and all that stuff. But when it came to shifting my numbers, and by that I mean shifting like raise my prices, or put more money over in this sort of retirement versus that sort of retirement, I was like, that's your business over there, this is my business over here. You let me do me, you do. And that independent spirit was coming out of me. But when I joined the Luxury Blueprint, again, you taught me in a different way because I was like, well, he's been telling me this all along. I felt kind of bad. I was like, I've always loved and trusted my husband. Why wasn't I doing it? And even more now, as I'm growing with this, that let him do his job even when it comes to me. We were talking before, I was saying he let me cut his hair when I was just learning to cut. I was in hair school. He had to go around walking like that. He was an accountant already. So he had to walk around like that. And it wasn't pretty sometimes. It was not learning the barber. But he let me. He let me. And so I have to let him cut my hair now or cut my business now and do
Mhm.
what he does and develop that too. So yeah.
Right, right.
Get your an accountant, get you an accountant. Marry one, marry an accountant.
Okay. Yeah, so I think like two really great things. It's like one, it's like even if you are married to an accountant, it's like
Mhm.
you still have to take the ownership of your business
You
and your
too.
numbers are part of that. And
Yeah.
then the other part is like if you do have help, let them help you, you know,
Let them help me. But still, even if he's helping me, I'm gonna still be doing my numbers every day because that's my
every
part.
day. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that's part of running your business, and it's like a lot
Yeah.
of times, it's definitely not the sexy part of running our business, right? And
Mm.
so
And we're creative. We're not numbers people. We're
exactly,
just not. But
exactly.
this program helps us to become a little more acquainted with it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, we're not trying to turn you into accountants, but we want
Mm-hmm.
you to know your numbers so that you can make good decisions for
Yeah.
your business. And it's like a lot of times we don't have any idea like where we are. We don't know what we made last week. We don't know what we're going to make next week. We don't know, we separate everything as well, if you've done retail or what have you. And it's like, it just helps people clearly see. And I remember one of the first times when you actually, said, well, I'll do, what she recommends kind of, but it's like my husband kind of takes care of that part. And you said you, I think, spent like, I don't know how much time, but you spent some time like really going through everything. And by the time you finished, it's like I could hear your hand on your hip. It's like, oh, these prices are going up
Yeah.
because it's like I'm looking at these numbers and it's like this just doesn't make sense. So
No. No.
yeah. So
So
I so appreciate you and everything that you shared. It's like I don't see any other questions. It's like I do see congratulations from Dewana for your excellent year. So it's like
thank you.
you were just shy of $100,000 last year. You started in March. You took how many vacations? It's like you
Last year we vacationed quite a bit last year, and it
right.
looks like it's gonna be that way again this year.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a phenomenal year. So we definitely
Yeah.
want to celebrate you.
Yeah.
And your business is growing and thriving, and it's exciting to see. And so I want to invite anyone out, that's here, that's watching, or that knows someone who's like, they're really busy, they enjoy what they're doing, but they know that they may need to make some changes with what they're
Yeah.
doing. This
Yeah.
is a great direction to change into. And even if you are considering, say 2, 3, 5 years from now, retiring, it's like,
Mhm.
why not shift your business now, make more money, do fewer clients, have more time as a life where you may be able to plan your next steps if there is a
Mhm.
next chapter, or if you're going to move into, retirement, you have money to put aside. There's so many things that so many ways that this program transcends and just like really transforms people, like she said, not only your business but your life.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Such a blessing.
yeah, yeah. So it's definitely so much more than just making more money. It's really about
Mhm.
really getting grounded with your business, your life, and being able to even take your talents and turn them into, your wealth.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel like if you want to truly be a luxury hairstylist, you have to be that way in your life too, not just behind the chair.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone that's taken it has said the same thing. Like,
Mhm.
it's like this wasn't just about my
Mhm.
career, and this wasn't just about my income.
Mhm.
It has literally changed the way I interact with people, like you said, with your religion, with your relationships, with everything. And so
Mhm.
it's really very cool to watch, and this happens quickly. Like, how long did it take you to kind of get through the the training?
It's really honestly all about how much you want to put into it at the time. Because it really, when I first started, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my time so I can really just dig into each little section, and however long it takes me, it takes me. But I was so impressed from the start that I would do one part of the course, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do this homework portion, and then however, whenever that's finished, I'm gonna move on to the next because I was eager. It makes you very eager to do the next section. So what probably should have maybe taken, several months or whatever, I could get done in a month
Hmm.
and be like, let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah, yeah. And I call it a course sometimes, but it's like it's not really a course because like we've all taken courses and you kind of like say, "Oh, well, I took that last year." Like,
Mm-mm.
but this is something that lives with you. Is that
And
been
we go,
your
and I go back into it. I was just back into it yesterday at an
Mhm.
area. I was like, I remember we talked about it. I got to look back through, and sure enough, I found something, and I was like, okay, now I need to reread. I need to rewatch that video so I can get that again, and
Yeah,
you see it from a different perspective. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
like the Bible. When you read the Bible one time in your life, it affects you one way. Okay, I'm a
right.
Bible person. People don't say talk about religion, but just use the example.
Yeah,
And then later in your life, you read that same set of verses and it impacts you completely different. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like I heard I think it was a minister who said, it's like the more I study the Bible, the more I realize the less I know. It's like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's like I keep going in and it's like, wow, it's like this vastness is here. And
Mm-hmm.
all I know is a little teeny bit and I used to think I knew it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like that's the way a good metaphor for life and with the blueprint because it's really about you discovering a little bit more about yourself because a lot
Yeah.
of it is not the step by step, the work on the numbers of this, that, and the other. A lot of it is shifting your mindset. And those
Mm-hmm.
are the things that have to happen before you can move into becoming a luxury stylist.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm so excited for you. It's like I'm happy for
Thank
you,
you,
and I'm
Nikki.
really grateful that you took time today to just share your experience. And I pray that it will help other people to really approach their career from a different standpoint.
I hope so. Because
Yeah,
it's really helped me and I thank you so much for it. Thank you.
yeah, you're very welcome. And so, if you are interested in the luxury blueprint and getting some more information, it's like I'm just gonna scroll this right here. But if you want a six-figure business, it's like I'm kind of the six-figure coach, I guess you could say, and within the beauty industry particularly. And I have a free training that's at mickeywright.com /promo. And there's also a way that you can schedule with me to meet with me. And it's like if you think that this might be a fit for you, go ahead and schedule and we'll talk about it. I'll share all of the details with you and we'll get you started on your trek. Your journey into becoming a luxury stylist. So again, it's Mickey Wright and it's MIKIWRIGHT. Everyone always wants to give me extra K's and C's and Y's, but it's just MIKI and /MickeyWright.com /promo,
Yeah.
PROMO. And so, Dianna, what's the best way for them to contact you? Because you actually, in addition to doing your styling services, have a fabulous product line and do some other things as well. So it's like I've got
Dianna'sNaturalHairCare.com. Yes.
awesome, awesome. So yeah, if you guys have questions for, if you are a client in the area looking to go to one of the top luxury stylists in that area, to definitely
Yes.
look her up. And it's like if you're interested in all natural products that are good for yourself, your skin, your family, the environment, all of that, to definitely
Yes.
check out diannasnaturalhaircare.com.
All righty. Thank you.
Yep. So thanks so much. And everyone have a fabulous day. Thank you for joining us. It's like if you're here for the first time, definitely subscribe to us on YouTube at Mickey Wright. And we'll look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. It's like we do this the first and third weeks of the month. And we may be adding a little bit more. It's like we're going to get back into more Beauty Superstars talk. So we'll look forward to seeing you. Keep reaching for the stars, and I will see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Take care,
Dianna.
everyone.
Bye bye.